Max
Mhm.
Baggio, welcome back to the DCA podcast.
Thank you very much. It's been too long. It's been
It
too
has
long.
been too long, hence why you're
Not,
here, my dear.
I know, 99 episodes.
I
That's mad.
know, and you,
That's crazy. You've done that many to be fair.
thanks. I was motivated by Chris Williamson doing 1,000, and I thought, "Do you know what? I can do 100 by the end of
Yeah.
2025.
What? How many have you done in this year then?
That is a good question. I
Like
reckon
every.
probably like 3/4 of it.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
more. That's more
One,
than one a
one a
week.
week. Yeah, pretty much.
Fair play. Good
I
work.
know, consistent.
I know.
But welcome to the podcast episode. I wanted to have you back on for episode 100 just to catch up, see what is new in your life, what is good, and see what's changed for you over the last 2 years
Cool.
since our first episode. Both of our lives have changed a lot, and I'm curious to see what has happened in the life of Max Baggio in the last 2 years. Tell me.
Yes. Is that last? It was that episode 1 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay, fine. I 2 years ago I just left March on. So I just
Mm-hmm.
left. I hadn't quite launched my business yet. I think I was on the cusp of doing it. So I have been running my online coaching business for 2 years. It's been pretty cool. It's been wicked. I've been doing one-to-one coaching throughout that, and that's been like the main product, I guess, or main thing I do. And then from that, over the course of the 2 years, I've implemented some other programs as well, some group programs, some fixed length programs. So very much like coaching, programming heavy. Jumped into the online space 2 years ago. It's been a massive learning curve, I would say. It's been huge, to be fair. Lots of, well, a number of different things you don't really think about that suddenly prop up. And you have to try and master, even though you've never done it before, which is quite interesting. Um, but it's been really cool, really fulfilling. Gives me flexibility as well. Is probably the main reason why I did it. I can work remotely, which is nice. I did find after 6 months, just solely online was a little bit of a big switch for me. I've always been coaching in person, did that for 4.5 years, did a lot of hours for 4.5 years. So that's quite, I didn't realize how big of a part of my life that was, as in the social aspect. And I think
Mm.
I realized over the course of time that I am actually a really sociable person, or enjoy that. So I have as well, I started coaching one morning a week at the gym that I go to in Welling. So I do
Mm-hmm.
every Friday pretty much, which just keeps me going. I think it's quite nice. I'm like fresh for it. I really enjoy it. It's more like it's more fulfilling than a job, I would say, doing that. So it's cool. I actually find it a good balance. What else has been going on? I'm still training hard. Still training
Yeah,
hard. Yeah.
that's an
So
understatement.
yeah. So what have I been doing? Obviously I train CrossFit. I've been
Mm.
trying to do that for the last maybe 5 years now. I last year tried to do my best in the UK champs, which I got into but it was a very, very tough field to be fair. And I did find it tough. Had some good
Mm.
events here and there, but I wanted a little bit more from it. But apart from that, I've just been training hard and recently, to be honest, feeling probably near enough the fittest I've been, like kind of conditioning wise, I'd say, like aerobically. Um,
Wow.
just a little bit of a switch in like training aspects. Obviously, the open and kind of stuff that I'm trying to work towards in quarterfinals is quite far away still. So it's like end of March. So
Mm.
right now it's quite a good time to just build a little bit of a base. Don't do anything too like specific within the CrossFit realm, I guess. And I've
Mm.
been enjoying it. It's been really good. Um,
Wow.
Traveling and stuff, and that's
Ye
probably the whole picture
Yeah.
of what I've been up to in the last 2 years.
Well, it's amazing at your level to notice them. Like, I don't even say like marginal gains, but what you just mentioned there in terms of switching modalities or training. How do you know? How can you recognize that like things are getting improving for you in that remit already at your level? That must be quite a feat.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, I think it's very early days, and I guess I don't have like a marker, but it's just like it's more of a feeling. Like, I
Mm.
feel because I've started this progression maybe 6 weeks ago, and I've been very consistent with it throughout. And it's just been a big, over this last 6 weeks, it's been a big shift in different modalities of conditioning that I haven't really touched upon before. So lots of bike erg, lots of echo bike, rowing, running, and some zone 2 work. So it's been quite a big shift from, I think previously I was kind of doing elements of that, but it
Mm,
might have been more like hammer myself a little bit or kind of like high intensity. Whereas at the moment it's almost like long, slower durations, lower intensity, and then slowly starting to ramp up. And I think it's something that I've never really done. Or never,
mm.
I've always thought about the principles of it being good, but never really actually put it into place and taken the time to do like lower intensity things, but a bit more volume. And then I actually feel like the benefits are starting to show a little bit more as I get into kind of this week, if not carrying on the rest of this block. This
Well,
block.
you are one of the most consistent people that I know. Is there some form of secret, or what's your advice in terms of being consistent and following through on a training
Just
plan as such and
in
executing
general,
it?
you mean? Just like my biggest piece of advice would be, and I think I try and say it to myself as well, is like make time for it, have a plan. Um, because if you don't have a plan, that's already making it a little bit harder for yourself to stick to
Mm,
it. You don't have anything to stick to an extent. So having a plan structure in place first off, making it realistic as well to adhere to is probably the main thing, and adjusting it if you need to in the early stages of whatever you're doing. And then I think you've got to be kind of do it long enough to make it a habit.
mm,
And I think if it's not going to become a habit, it's probably something you're not truly into, or you're not actually bought into it. Um, so for me, training wise, I enjoy it. It's not a chore. Makes me like I can be better in my day because of it. And then obviously like getting fitter, stronger is something I want to pursue. So it's not that big of a commitment really. But say for me me to stretch every day, even though it's a lot less time, a lot more accessible, I just really don't enjoy it. And it's definitely more of a chore. So for something like that, I have to make all the other aspects of planning, making it achievable, realistic, a lot more tight knit. Whereas
uh-huh.
training, somehow, some way, I will find an hour in my day, even if I have to drive like half an hour, 40 minutes. Whereas stretching for maybe 10, 15 minutes somehow finds its way to be pushed to the side.
Uh,
Um, so yeah, I think you've got to be tighter on the strings if it is something you struggle to do. If it's something you don't necessarily struggle to do too much, then you can be a bit more lax, and it's more of a habit that you've already got in place. If that's clear enough.
yeah, I guess it's you understanding, because of your consistency with training, if you want to change any aspect of your identity or what you become in terms of, I am the type of person that now stretches or
Hmm.
unlocks different levels to that. It's just a skill acquisition issue or problem. So I guess that's you unlocking areas that are less familiar to you. How do you? I know you're a very your mindset when it comes to attempting something new is very good. So when you want to start something new and you realize that perhaps it's, you're not going to be incredible at it day one, what's your philosophy or belief system around that?
I think again, you got to be for it to be easy to do, or not easy to do, but easier. You've got to actually want to do it for one. As in, say, it can be anything and everything. But for me, way back when, it was public speaking, getting better at that.
Mm,
So I used to hate it, really used to jar me because it used to be a bit of like a hindrance, and I couldn't express myself fully as I wanted to. So and it used to just be a barrier. I knew the things I wanted to talk about and how to express it, but just wasn't really happening. So stuff like that, I knew I wanted to achieve that at some point, and I thought, oh, it's so like it's such a cool thing to be able to feel comfortable in a room with loads of people and just express what you want to say. So
uh,
because I knew I wanted to do that initially, it made it a lot easier in order to just chuck myself into the deep end with it. So in that aspect, I just think you've got to be realistic with what you really want to achieve and what your pursuit is that you're not currently comfortable with doing yet. And
Mm,
then once you have that, that's the hard bit done, really. And then you've got to throw yourself into it and accept that you're not gonna be great at the beginning. And it's natural. It's completely
mm.
natural. Like everyone starts out as a toddler doing just flopping around, they're not able to do anything. So it's quite cool the fact that we've grown up to be able to do what we do today over the course of time, obviously refining things and getting better. So I think you really have to almost assume you're going to be rubbish, like really assume it before you even start, just so it's not like a shock and doesn't um, push you away from it if you do kind of not fail, but if you do kind of fall on your ass with what you're doing. Uh,
Yeah, interesting.
and then just enjoy it really kind of like have like laugh at yourself about it, have fun, like take little wins here and there, because you will gradually get better and better and better, and it might be just little things here and there and here and there over the course of time. You'll suddenly realize you're like and you probably won't even be that satisfied because you'll be like the next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing. But if you look back, you'll be pretty surprised how far you've come just by trying it and keep on trying it.
Do you tend to have like a lot of aspirations and goals or tabs open of things that you want to keep doing? Or are you fairly, I guess, realistic in your approach to like what you want to achieve and get done for business, personal, whatever? Are you always running a million miles an hour or are you fairly quote unquote balanced with that?
I think I always try and get as well. I always feel at the end of the day I wanted to get more done, um, which is a little bit annoying. But I kind of I accept that I'm always probably going to want that. So I guess I expect quite a lot from myself to get done in a day, and I don't want to just get by the day and be able
Mm,
to go to the next day in the same position. I want to try and improve on something, whether it be business wise, try and plan something here or book in something here or just develop in some sort of aspect that wasn't there the day before, if that makes any sense. So for me, it's more like what can I do next, as in programming wise, what will be beneficial for people? How can I be better at marketing my coaching platform? How can I make my systems a little bit more efficient? And it literally, the list is kind of endless. So that's why it's
mm,
quite, you get to the end of the day and you're like, you have like these little ideas here and there and you just haven't quite got there. But again, you got to be realistic at the end of the day. You got to accept you can't do everything. There's not endless hours in the day, or endless energy is probably the main one. Um,
yeah.
so I I'm not running around like a million miles an hour because I do accept that you got to have a little bit of a balance. Sorry, but I do definitely try and push the capacity of what I can do in the day. I almost think of it as like a training day of business in a weird way.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, trying to properly lock into what I'm doing. Yeah, every single day is a reset of trying to get better.
Really
Honestly,
amazing.
I've always thought, I'll get to the point where I'll be like, I can do this in like half an hour, or I can do that in an hour, or
What? What are you
like
talking about?
literally like be like checking in with my clients, or I'll get to the point where, or it'll be like, I can program like 5 people within 2 hours, or
Uh,
it'll be things like that, or it can be I'll be able to, I don't know. It's just little. There's like a huge tick box of things I think that you potentially could do for yourself within the day, and I always try and hit everything as much as I can. But here and there, you're always going to have little bits that you slightly miss the mark on.
mm.
That's quite a vague answer to the question, but I hope it helped a little bit.
No, not at all. And we're both in pretty much the same time span of owning our own businesses and stepping into a world that we didn't really have any fucking clue what we were doing with. But now
Mhm.
we've learned on the job essentially like what is required of us and all these skills that we need to learn and accept that we need to develop at.
Yeah.
What's to not allow Parkinson's law to rule us and just time be washed away in a day? What's your strategy in terms of structuring your time management for your business and how much you're training in like your nutrition, which I know you value a lot?
Um, I'd say. now that I'm a little bit more flexible than I was 2 years ago, um, it allows it allows more flexibility. So not every day is the same. Um,
Hmm.
I do try, and I'd say like perfect day, or like a good solid day normally is I'll try and train early. So I enjoy that. Starts my day well, wakes me up. It's also a part of my day that I want to get done as well. So good day would be train from like 6 till 7, and then come back home. I'd then have my breakfast, sort myself out, and I'll be working by like 8ish. So from from there, I try and have like a solid block of like 3 or 4 hours where I'm just trying to tick through what the tasks I have in the day. And probably like the main thing that I do try and instill is getting rid of my phone. But
Ah,
yeah, it's probably like the best thing I could do. But it's weird how easy it is to pick it back up again. Um, so
yeah. What are your
I'd
tips?
say
What's your
my
secrets
tips
with the
with
phone?
that
Yeah.
would be put on do not disturb and chuck it in another room would be the easiest one. But if it's like a pre-prep day, I could maybe even prep my breakfast the day before, if it's quite like a tight stint or tight timing day. And then that just gives me a little bit more time to sit down and just have like a bit of a, and especially without the phone, no distractions is
Hmm.
probably the biggest habit. Just try to have no distractions for a solid amount of time. It might be 3 to 4 hours. And then normally I think breaking up your days is one of the biggest like good habits to have. So whether it be me going to do a session again around about 11 or half 11, or
Okay. So fairly soon.
normally sometimes it's like twice a day, or it might be just having lunch, as in having lunch and just giving yourself like an hour to like have a coffee, chill a little bit, maybe go outside to get some fresh air for a walk or so, and then coming back and having another stint of maybe 3 to 4 hours or 2 to 3, more realistically. So sorry, the original question of what you said was tips and tricks of how I try and be productive.
Hmm.
One would be to isolate my phone to get rid of that distraction. Would be to start the day a little bit earlier than you normally would, or like an early-ish day, in order to give yourself a bit more time. And then three would be to have a bit of a balance, even though you're obviously like, oh, I've got all day, I can smash out as much work as I can. But it's similar to like a training session, you won't be able to have, you'll get to a point where you're tired, your productivity is going to be a lot lower.
Hmm.
So you're actually taking longer doing a task that should take maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Um, so it gets to the point where it's almost a little bit pointless. So
Yeah.
by knowing when you get to that point, or knowing that you're going to get to that point at some stage, stopping prior to it, giving yourself like at least 20 minutes to an hour to completely disconnect. So for me, it might be potentially go to the gym and come back and have my lunch, and then coming back into it again. Uh, yeah, those would probably be the main ones, I think, for during the
Well,
day.
on the topic of your phone, what's your relationship like with social media, kind of having a business and how you manage your time with promoting, marketing, things like that?
Oh, I totally realize that being on socials is a part of my job, really. It's not like I don't enjoy editing and creating content,
Hmm.
but it'll be just little. I don't even consider being on like say CapCut to edit a video as being on my phone almost. I think of it more as like say if I'm getting messages or little notifications here and there that I just don't need.
Uh,
Those would be the main things. Um, and then sorry, what was the original question?
no, your relationship with social media and kind of how often
Fine.
you're on Instagram and responding
Yeah,
to
yeah.
DMs and boundaries with that.
I think almost just mapping out a bit of like a time slot to do it is how I try and do it anyway. So in the morning, I'll do my session, come back, have my breakfast, sit down to do a little bit of work. Um, one of like the tasks in the morning would be like maybe 5 to 10 minutes of replying to messages.
Hmm.
Um, and then putting up stories of my session that morning. So those two kind of aspects would be replies and then little posts here and there that I need to put up, and
Got it. Yeah.
then I'd put it away again. So almost those two things would be done within 10 minutes, put it away again. And then when it comes to like nighttime, I try and get off it relatively early, or I just don't like being on it. You get a little bit of like brain fog, I guess. Well, I do anyway. Just like you kind of switch off completely, you're glazed over if you spend too much time on your phone. So once I've had dinner, it's kind of I don't really go on it. I might reply to a few messages or message some people that I need to. Like last night, I was messaging my parents about what Christmas presents they want. So that's fine. So, but in general, if like a perfect day for me would be like 7:30, I just put my phone on Do Not Disturb if I've replied to everything, and then it's
Mm.
done. Um, yeah, I'm a no TV in bed kind of guy as well, but but at the
Do you
same time,
read? Out of
there's
curiosity.
sometimes a little bit, not loads, a little bit. I'm
Mm.
talking like a page a night, if that,
Hey, it's still reading.
a little bit. I have started like not journaling, but
Yes.
like almost like a to-do list for the next day. That's another habit actually. That's another habit I'd say is quite good that I
You do that quite routinely most days?
have recently. Because this is a plug, but it's not for me, so it's not really a plug. But
What's the plug?
so Grace Beverly,
Oh,
she has
yes.
the productivity method,
You like
the
her
planner,
journal or a book?
the planner, right? Jem got it for me last Christmas, and it was actually really good. Just made it a lot easier just to kind of map out what I need to get done. Um,
Brilliant.
so I almost use that in the evening before the next day to like write out if there was anything I was like hadn't ideas or anything like that the day
Mhm.
before or the day of, and then write what I want to try and do the next day, and
Great.
then have a little look at it in the morning. That's kind of a habit I've got at the moment.
Nice. That sounds pretty structured. Well, looking back, it sounds like your training has changed a little bit, but I'm curious, give me one thing from nutrition and training that you've changed your mind on since that last episode we recorded. Is there anything that springs to mind?
Ooh, um, nutrition and training has changed.
You've
I don't
changed
think
your mind about.
I changed my mind about. I have electrolytes quite a lot now. I have those since chatting to you. So I have those every morning. To be fair, when I wake up, that's like the first thing I have. Anything that I've changed about since? Not majorly, to be honest. I don't think. I have carbs around my training, so I try and have like a little snack before or after, if not
Mhm.
both. Um, which I did before. Beta alanine. Haven't really had much of that recently. Just not too. I don't know. Just haven't really thought. Obviously, there are benefits, but I haven't really physically felt anything. If that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
fair
And it
enough.
gives me a fuzzy face for a little bit.
Okay. Tingling.
Still having omega-3 every day. Um, and then yeah, I still have solid like 3 to 4 meals throughout the day. Oh, there's probably one thing that has changed, and
Tell
it's the
me.
amount. It's foods that have loads of random ingredients in it that you don't really know what it is. Does that make sense?
Interesting. Tell
So
me
like
more.
sriracha sauce.
You love sriracha sauce. What do you mean?
Yeah, yeah. So you know the one, obviously the red bottle with the green lid,
Yeah,
standard
I do.
sauce. Do you ever look on the back of that? And this is only because um, I was only made aware of it. Well, I thought about it a bit, but Jen was like, she watched it, listened to a podcast. I don't know what podcast it was. And she was like, I've actually like started looking at the back of labels just to like
Oh.
see what's involved. And obviously sriracha sauce is quite an extreme one. It's just got loads of random stuff in it.
Mhm.
That you don't really. Well, I just don't know what they do or what they are. Like, as in all the stabilizers and
Acids
acid.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So since then, been trying to almost be aware of stuff. So getting stuff that has less ingredients or more ingredients it should have in it. So like sriracha sauce, we get like Doctor somethings now.
Oh, the ketchup one as well, like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like a yeah, I know what you mean.
And the other one is wraps. We have wraps like loads, like all the time, obviously fajitas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wraps, I never knew they have like, well, standard wraps anyway, have loads of random shit in them.
What have you replaced it with?
You can obviously they're a little bit more expensive, but they're ones that have less stuff in them. Um,
Mm.
just little things like that. That's probably the main one recently.
Any benefits, or have you noted any changes?
No, not massively to be honest,
Okay.
but it might just be something that I feel better psychologically for having.
Mm. Yeah,
So,
that's important. I guess we don't talk, the impact of changing aspects of our nutrition purely just for our mental health, regardless of the nutrition or the quality or the science around it.
yeah, I would say. But
Mm.
apart from that, it's kind of I've kind of stuck to my guns with what I've always done.
Yeah, still on the oats. What's your go-to favorite meals at the minute?
Our go-to breakfast is Greek yogurt with oats, and I mix in a little bit of hot water just to make it a bit more malleable. Um, so 100 grams of oats, 250 grams of Greek yogurt. I normally go 5%, just get a little bit more fat in there. Um, and then 15 grams of peanut butter, 10 grams of honey, a banana, or some blueberries as well. And then Jen made some granola the other day. Very good. Very, very good. So that is my go-to breakfast. If not, scrambled egg with like 2 bagels, maybe some avocado. And then go-to lunch, like on the go, is tuna wraps. The wraps coming back out again. There you go. But I mix them with Greek yogurt. That's probably the main difference compared to mayo.
Great shout.
Some jalapenos. So I put in some jalapenos there as well. And then the Greek yogurt thing as well. I have a lot of Greek yogurt, to be fair. So
Yeah.
like a nightcap will be a bowl of yogurt with some fruit and maybe a bit of peanut butter and some honey and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's my go-tos. They're the go-to ones. And then
Nice.
just like fruit and stuff for snacks.
Well, yeah, you've always been super consistent, and any changes you've made, they've never really been drastic to your nutrition. Even when I was helping you a little bit, you are pretty dialed in terms of that. Is there anything you've learned about nutrition, regardless of the labels, looking at that, or heard on a podcast recently that's kind of sparked your interest or a bit curious to learn more about when it comes to nutrition?
Oh, maybe probiotics.
Okay.
Would you this is a question for you now.
Mm,
So Simprove,
yes.
um, do you say they are beneficial or yeah, make a difference?
I do, not only because, like plug, I'm affiliated with
Mhm,
them, but I've been using Simprove for millennia for many reasons,
mhm,
because it's one of the you got to think about the format in which the probiotics getting through your digestive tract. So your gastric acid is going to pretty much obliterate any good bacteria that's trying to get down. So it's really
mhm,
important the mode of transport, and when it's water based, it gets through without having the acid attack and destroy all the bacteria. So there's a higher chance, not all of it's going to make it through, but there's a higher quantity of actually getting to your intestines and flourishing.
right.
For you specifically, for athletes that are traveling, that are very intense and looking after their immune system, I definitely think it is something that I would 1,000,000% commit to as an athlete at your level.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, cool. That's
Yeah.
all good. I've never used it, but I've just thought about it.
Yeah.
Um, something to think about. Okay, cool. Okay, another question on that. How
Mm,
long would you have to commit to it for it to actually make a difference?
12 weeks.
12 weeks. Fine.
Yeah, they actually don't do single boxes for a month anymore purely because of that. So you can't actually get single servings or like one bottle. So you have to, it's three in to
Commitment.
notice the changes, or you can't really have it.
Got ya. Got you, got you. Okay. Another one
Yeah.
would be coffee or caffeine.
But yeah,
Um,
where we at?
so I think my like sweet spot is two in the day, but sometimes I drift into that third one.
What's Give me tangibles here, Max. Out of 7 days a week, how many are you having? Three?
Maybe 3 days a week. Yeah,
This
realistically,
week so far, how many have you had a third?
2, 100%.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe 3. I'm not sure.
Lies, lies. Okay, third coffee, talk to me, yeah.
I I afterwards, I definitely feel like I've had a bit too many.
Right?
Like, yeah. So, but I wanted to, and I've looked it up as well. I was like, is 3 coffees too much to an extent? And it kind of varies depending on your tolerance, etc.
Mhm.
Yes, I wanted your opinion. I think personally, and I think you're probably going to say it depends on your tolerance, etc. But I think personally, if I have more than 3, if they're spaced out, it's not too bad. But if I have like boom, 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 and maybe a third in the afternoon, just like a little bit of like almost headachy, I would say is probably the
Oh
main
god,
one.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think even after it depends on the strength, like your machine is probably a higher quantity than just instant. So that's pretty important, like where you're getting it from. If you bought 3 barista, you're definitely going to be up towards maybe 600 milligrams for a double shot for 3.
Yeah.
So the strength is pretty important. I think after the second, a lot of people, depending on nutrition and absorption and what's in your stomach and digestion wise, the
Oh, yeah.
anxiety, it becomes more of a mental health aspect than it does like performance. Because when you start like getting a bit anxious and jittery and can't, and like you're all over the place and you're starting getting like agitated or frustrated at things, then generally for people that are pretty high performing, you don't really need the additional capacity for that for the
Cool.
third. So
Okay.
yeah, the timing of it's again pretty important. You don't really want to like whack 600 milligrams of caffeine in you by like 10 a.m. But I know a lot of coaches that even on in Australia, like they're up at like the crack of dawn. Well, you're up super early as well. But what's the timing of your third one, just in contrast to your sleep schedule?
It would be like 1:30,
Okay,
maybe.
sleeps okay.
Yeah, yeah. But again, I don't know. I do use a Garmin, and it can vary a little bit.
Mm,
But yesterday I had 2, and then I did sleep pretty well. I had pretty deep sleep.
mm.
Again, I think it's almost I got to self-assess as well, whether that is like the main cause of why I had a good sleep. Do you, does that make you understand?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it can
so
change, I guess.
yeah, it can that's many many different factors. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, I'd say if I was to have a third one, it'd be like 1:30 ish or 2
mm,
at push. But I am aware, like if I have it later than that, it's going to be a bit too late. I feel like it's going to be a bit too late anyway.
yeah, potentially. I think anything maybe after like 2 p.m. is probably within the
Mhm.
duration or longevity of its time span, probably going to impact you to some degree. I assume the third one's maybe a little bit of like a habitual kind of routine, comfort slash
Mm.
niceness
Yeah,
slash
yeah,
add something to your day.
that's so true. Actually, it's probably more like I'll sit down, have a coffee, and carry on doing some work, sort of thing. Or it might be,
Oh,
sit down, have a coffee. I'm gonna go to the gym in like 20 minutes.
okay. Okay.
Does
Yeah,
that make
just
sense?
just watch it because even dopamine, like as a neurochemical, is pretty addictive. Like you start to then ingrain the behavior. Well, if I need to do that, then I have to have the caffeine first.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
before you know it, you could be on like 4 or 5 days a week having the third one because it's like it's the dopamine getting you there more than it is you liking the taste of coffee or even the
Mm,
caffeine.
got ya, got ya. Okay, cool. That's all good.
Nice. Well, in terms of any female athletes that you work with, what have you learned about how nutritional training or what's your experience more women's health wise with what you've come across in the last couple of years? Anything on your radar or what's your experience coaching them?
I would say specific to nutrition, you mean? Or
Or training, like how they differ maybe from the men that you coach?
fine. In terms of coaching, like coaching style, I'd say in general, women respond better to like good reinforcement, as in like frequent kind of little little highlights of wins. So Yeah, I'd say almost more frequent than guys, as in maybe they do a session, maybe in the week, say in the week, I'll touch point with my clients um,
Mm,
3 times in the week. For for the guys, it might be just like just a little check over their session, see how they're getting on, and just like good work, let's keep going. For the girls, it might be a little bit more specific, as in like, oh, your squats look great today, um, blah blah blah. Just little things here and there. I think, and I find the women respond more than the men in a more positive. It's more communicative, or
mhm,
there's more back and forth with women
mm,
when coaching, which is cool. I think it's really good. I'd say in terms of training, women, this is more sciencey, and I was chatting to a friend about it.
mm,
Supposedly, and I need to research a little bit more before. So basically, take what I say with a pinch of salt. Um, Supposedly, women find it harder to push for like 1 RMs for like maxing out intensity. So it might be getting like a 1 RM, or it might be like a 30-second sprint on an assault bike,
mm,
except like high power output. Whereas they're very good at sub maximal, so slightly under that, so maybe like 90ish%, and able
yeah,
to push the amount of reps they do, or keep that intensity high for a longer duration than men. So men in general potentially have more capacity to push their power output in one stint for a short duration. So say like a 1 rep max, or like a 30-second sprint on the assault bike. Whereas for sub maximal, so say like 90ish%, they will fatigue that a little bit quicker than women.
mhm,
Uh, and women's recovery rate, sorry, between their sets or repetitions of maximal work is quicker than men, supposedly, from a little bit of research.
yeah,
Again, it was just talking to a fellow coach about it, back and forth. So it was quite interesting. And I'd say
mm,
in just from coaching women over the course of maybe 5 to 6 years, that's what I've seen in the past.
yeah,
Like, as in when we're doing a strength session, it's normally the women that are like, "Oh, can we go back into our next set?" Or they're kind of like rattling through it. They seem to finish that bit quicker compared to the guys. Um,
mm,
Percentage is the same. But when it goes to like max work, I get a little bit more resistance from women. They're like, "Oh, why are we doing this?" Blah blah blah. Whereas the guys really enjoy it. So from that perspective, it does kind of make sense a little bit. Um,
yeah,
I'm not too sure like how or why physiology or physiology.
mm,
Um, but that was just something that propped up recently. And then nutritionally, which actually be cool to like chat to you about it, is having food. So this is I want to ask you this. So
mhm,
what's your opinion on having, say, early session, you're starting at 6 for your
yeah.
session. You might get up at 5:15 or whatever to then get yourself ready and go to the gym. What's your opinion on having a meal prior to, or waiting till afterwards?
Fantastic question.
I'm just gonna put my laptop on charge as well. Sorry.
No, go for it.
Mhm. Yeah, just so I don't come out. Okay. All right. Let's do it.
I would say it depends on how much carbohydrates they've had the night before in their evening meal,
Okay.
purely for glycogen storage and the fact that your muscle glycogen is still going to be there when you wake up, but your liver glycogen won't. So you're probably going to have about 60 minutes worth in the tank of getting through your muscle glycogen stores before you're going to tank out. But obviously, like at 6 a.m., you've got other things to be doing in the rest of your day. So you do need to prioritize the recovery aspect of nutrition for going to work or whatever they've got. But it depends on a meal. Like if you tell somebody to start like smashing 100 grams of oats at like 5:30 in the morning, there's going to be resistance to that. But
Yeah.
it's almost a bit of an all or nothing approach from a mindset of just kind of working with a lot of women and I guess men are a bit more accepting of kind of right, okay, well that's what you need to do. So emotionally there's not too much involved there of just kind of getting the food in.
Right.
But liquid calories Simple sugars are going to be pretty useful if you are en route and you need that like quick 30-minute, 40-minute max availability and you're going into a session. Generally, something really quick digesting, like a crumpet, slice of toast, you're going to start to notice the impact of having a better session if there's something in the tank instead of just doing it fasted,
Right.
for sure.
Okay, cool. And does it slightly depend on, so say if you're doing, and depend on the person, like how they feel, or
Yeah, digestively, we're all going to be, sitting with things and digesting things differently. But if it's like a banana, then that's, pretty broken down and available in terms of like the glucose bond and how complex the carbohydrate is. So if it's simple, it should be broken down in your blood sugar pretty quickly. So that shouldn't be an issue if it's something small, simple, but also pretty glycogen full. Yeah, if you're really trying to push strength and training, then you're going to need the insulin and the glycogen promotion of how that's going to stimulate muscle growth from an anabolic perspective. So,
Mhm.
kind of missing a beat really if you are training intensely at 6 a.m. every day and kind of just waiting until you've gotten back to recover
Yeah, yeah.
over the course of I don't really know how many months, but comparison to somebody that takes that seriously versus doesn't, I can imagine the training adaptations are going to be way better for somebody that does.
All right.
I would think, and just in my experience of introducing that, but again, when it comes to psychological blocks, even with your comment on safety, when it comes to pushing max effort, for me, that's more of like a nervous system issue than it is anything training programs or whatever, because women have a very strong threat detector in terms
Mhm.
of like bodily awareness and how they're experiencing stimulus.
Yeah,
So if like men can go to war, right? Let's face it, like you are biologically engineered to go out and hunt. Your threat detection is kind of, you will do it. You don't really have
mhm.
that sense of, oh, what about the threat? Should I be safe? Should I do this? You will just do it. But a
Mm.
woman, we're biologically, because of reproduction and our hormones, to be a little bit more sensitive of, well, if I do that, there could be something. So
Right.
pushing yourself to die on the gym floor,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to get some that are just never really going to step into that quite comfortably as a mindset issue.
Okay. Yeah, fine.
It's just
Never
a
really,
bit of
mhm.
a perspective on it.
Yeah, yeah. Never really thought about the yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Really?
sure. And if
Mhm.
there was a piece of advice you would give a woman that wants to get into the gym, start strength training, but is a bit self conscious, intimidated, lacks confidence, what would your piece of advice be for them if they were starting their journey?
I would say that you it's the obviously anxiety to go, or you feel self-conscious where you're going. Gym's quite an intimidating place, no matter what gym it is, really.
Yeah.
So accepting that everyone in that gym started out the same as you, so they went on their first day. So it's going to be a little bit daunting the first time you go in, or um, make the effort to go in. But from there on, you'll probably realize it was a breeze, and everyone was nice and friendly to you and gave you advice, and so it's a really nice environment in the end. I would say it depends what sort of thing you're trying to do. If you're trying to train independently and have a plan, and stick to your like program, but on your own in the gym, then try and it's quite a hard route to go, like straight off the bat. So if you've never been in the gym, because you're on your own, so potentially doing it with a friend is like a very easy win, and makes it a lot more fun. But if you're just trying to get into fitness and get a little bit fitter and get into strength training, etc., joining a gym with classes is probably the best way. Just because everyone's doing the same thing, you're instantly more motivated because everyone's going through what you're going through. You make friends, it becomes more of a social aspect rather than just
Mm,
a daily habit. Um, so and you realise, I realised definitely from because I train on my own quite a bit, but then the odd session will be like, oh, we're doing even the other day we're doing pull-ups at the same time. So it was like, oh, me and three of the boys did pull-ups at the same time.
uh,
It was like, oh, sweet. It just makes it a lot more enjoyable because you're now just chatting in between sets. You're pushing each other. You're having a laugh of it. So if you're having a whole class with multiple people in there doing the same thing, it can be really, really, really fun.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's really like a really nice place to be and good way to start your day. Not just like the physical benefits, but actually like the social benefits as well.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that would be the
No,
biggest
I
advice.
love that. Brilliant. Well, tell us more about how you envision 2026 for you, any goals, and where can people find out more about you and your incredible training programs, my dear?
Yeah. 2026. Training wise, I'm looking to try and peak for like quarterfinals
Mm-hmm.
uh, CrossFit Open. So with that, I basically want to try and push to reach semi-finals is like a bit of a goal, but I realize that it's very, very tough and it's a hard one to get to, but I want to try my best anyway. Uh, so looking to peak towards that training wise, I'll be trying to push towards that. And then in terms of business, just trying to become or build a bit more of a client base to build a bit more of a community.
Nice.
So that'd be cool to have maybe multiple people on a program at once and maybe do some in-person events.
Mm,
Very, very much open doors, a number of different ideas that I would like to implement. And then in terms of what else is going on? I quite enjoy doing YouTubes at the moment. So
yeah.
yeah,
Vlogging era.
yeah. So just try and be a bit more consistent across socials, and YouTube's definitely a new sort of realm that I'm trying to keep pushing and see how that goes. I do enjoy it. It's definitely a different form of content that I haven't done before.
Mm,
And so 2026 would be to continue to do that. Um, but again, very, very open, and we'll see kind of how it goes and see what props up. But
great.
you said about where you can find me. You can find me pretty easiest ways on Instagram or YouTube. So Baggio_Max is my handle or username. And then the website is maxbaggiotraining.co.uk.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yay!
Oh,
Well, as always, my dear, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for being here today. And I look forward to catching up with you again when I'm back in the UK in a few weeks.
yeah, exactly. It's really nice to catch up, Dids.
Thank
Uh,
you, my angel.
let me know when you're back. We can
I will. Bye.